Yeah, Gord, can I ask, I think we're going to see some promises in the election as well, aside from the clean energy benefit, to take HST off hydro. Do you think that is stupid too?
Should HST be on our energy bills? And I think it should. Pardon me? It does. It does. I mean, it is. It's a goods and services tax. We've renamed it, but and energy or electricity we're talking here is a goods and service, and I think it should be taxed in a normal function to express the full cost to consumers, so that they will see the value of conservation. Now, if you're going to give a credit back, as the government's done through tax credits or the direct payment back the same amount to everybody is one way of sort of taking the sting out of those increases. But I really think that any good and service, any energy good and service, should be taxed at the appropriate way.
Why are the tax credits okay, but the 10% rebate off the bottom or cut off the bottom of the bill is not?
The 10%. The problem with the 10% is it means the people who use the most energy get the most money back, and that is a disincentive, a perverse incentive. Say we had taken this, it's tax money that's paying the Ontario Clean Energy Benefit. So say we took that tax money and gave the same amount to everybody. That means a consumer that was, vigorously conserving energy would get the same rebate as someone who consumes excessive amounts, and that would be fair. That would incent conservation or reward conservation. The way it is now, it effectively rewards excessive use of energy, and it actually stimulates the use of more energy.
You mentioned that the results of the consultation on the Long-Term Energy Act haven't been posted.
Yes.
How unusual is that, and what would we gain by seeing that?
Well, the Environmental Bill of Rights in Ontario requires certain government decisions, important government decisions, to be posted for the registry, and the public can comment. And then the legislation requires that those comments be taken into consideration, and then there's a decision that was posted, and then, so who polices that? I do. I'm the one that says to the public, okay, the government did look at your comments, and yes, they've explained how they followed them or didn't follow them, or what they had to do. We don't have that here. What we have is we have a posting. We're going to do this thing. Presumably, hundreds of people made comments. I don't know how many, because I didn't get the comments because there's been no decision posting. So they have truncated the system that's required by law and left us in the dark. Bad metaphor, I suppose.
It sounds like they've done more than truncated it. I mean, they've circumvented the rules. And you said that you're the enforcer.
That's right.
Do you have any enforcement tools? Or?
The role of the Environment Commissioner is to point these things out to the Legislative Assembly. That's how I go back, and that's what I'm doing. Here's a rule, and I've identified that this has not been done, and this is what has to be done. So presumably, the Legislative Assembly takes my advice and reflects on that, and the law is followed. It's happened before. I mean, there are lots of instances in my report where things, decision notices haven't been posted. It doesn't. Most of them are, but sometimes it happens. But this is a particularly important thing. This is the long-term energy policy of Ontario. And if public, sincerely participated and gave their comments, I think they deserve to be told, here's the decision, here's why we made the decision, and yes, we took your comments into consideration, but, maybe we couldn't include them, and here's why.
Can you say how unusual that is?
Well, it's unusual for a major policy initiative like this. It happens on, there are many hundreds of policy decisions that are made and posted each year, and some of them I catch each time, and people, they are slow to post a decision notice. But this is a big deal. This is an important one, so that's why I pointed out.
What do you think, or I don't know if you want to comment on a particular political party's idea, but we have the opposition, the Conservatives, talking about giving people the option of not switching to time-of-use pricing.
Okay, let me rephrase that so I'm not talking to a political platform.
Time-of-use pricing and leave the smart meters in place.
Well, I think the thing is, the matter that's been discussed in the public is this: should time-of-use pricing be mandatory, or could it be made voluntary, sort of an opt-out or situation? Would that work? I think I look at it in the long term. Time of use is about smart meters, about smart grid, and we're going down the road to smart grid. We have to. So down the road, 5 years, 10 years from now, I know that everybody's going to be on time of use. If we have to have some flexibility in the short term in terms of implementing it, I think that's it's workable, it's doable. I think if you price the the various rates under time of use appropriately, everybody will be scrambling, or many people who are concerned about their bills will be scrambling at the under time of use. But making it optional in the short term, it's a workable option.
So what's the real impact of the rebate? I mean,
The
on
Ontario Clean Energy Benefit.
like are we slowing down our
Yes.
efforts? Are we canceling it? You're talking about 1/3 of what we should be.
Yes, like we have a program, like this current program we've heard a lot of discussion about that from 2011 to 2014, where we're going to get the Ontario Power Authority and then the local distribution companies to introduce a whole bunch of conservation programs, and we have a planned amount of conservation we expect to get out of if it's successful. Well, it's the clean energy benefit because it rewards or encourages, because it reduces the cost of large consumption of energy, that stimulates it. It's a very opposite effect. So Agent Energy is one respected outfit that's done the economic modeling, and they've calculated that the stimulus created by this Ontario Clean Energy Benefit will remove about 1/3 the benefit we would have achieved if we didn't have that stimulus. If we didn't have it, price
So you're basically saying that
we're working against ourselves.
electricity rates are not high enough, and nobody's going to increase electricity
No.
rates in Ontario.
I'm not saying electricity rates are not high enough in some sort of sense that we want to pay the real price of electricity, the real price that we have to pay to build new electricity and to build and run our system. We have to pay the price. It's not, and so we want the price to reflect realistically what it should be to have a long-term, stable, resilient electrical system. And we're not right now.
What do you think a realistic price for electricity would be?
Well, we have a market that helps us to determine that, but right now we're subsidizing by 10% off the top. So clearly, we have the base of our system is set by a market rate that's supposed to reflect the need and demand. The plan to expand and improve the transmission and distribution system in the long term is before us in the long-term energy plan. So that's what's been reflected.